The timing here works out so well, doesn't it? Because there's consolidation in the car rental industry to 3 major players, and it comes at a time when the auto industry is recovering overall. We hear about these record auto sales, and the economy seems to be gaining a better footing as well. It's like a perfect storm.
Yeah, there's great headwinds here, I think, Scarlett. It's a great time in the industry. This industry has not had the kind of respect I think it's deserved over the decades I've been in the industry. They're making record profits, record revenues, year over year, and sequential growth. So I think it's great times, and most importantly, the companies are doing the smart things, good strategies, good growth plans. They're building out their brands, which has been critical to the growth of this industry. They're not just your grandmother's car rental transportation company anymore.
Not just your grandmother's car rental agency anymore. Part of that good strategy, though, includes raising prices for the first time in a long time for consumers.
Yeah, I believe that as a mobility alternative, car rental has been close to the dime telephone call. And it was for many, many years.
Too stable for too long?
Too stable for too long, not rational. A lot about market share, but today, as there's more scrutiny and there's more transparency, there's certainly a lot of incentive for the rental companies to fleet conservatively, fleet being your single biggest expense, and control of fleet, greater demand, higher prices is a winning formula every time.
How much does that flow down to the bottom line?
Substantial. If you can control fleet costs, you've got 30, 35, 40% can, in fact, go to your bottom line.
I would suggest 105% of our viewers and listeners have had a bad experience at a car rental company. I would certainly be in that group. How's the behavioral construct changed here? Car driving is getting more and more expensive. Are people coming in and saying, hey, this is really working out, this is a new triopoly, or is it business as usual, like I can't get the car that I want to get?
Tom, there's over 100 million rental transactions a year done in this country alone. You know, a tiny percent, which is what we hear, will create a lot of buzz. The reality is the rental companies have gotten much better in communicating and disclosing. A lot of the problems they had to do with disclosure, not explaining to the consumer just what the deal is. Well, we've gotten past that hump. The companies are focusing on customer service. I think they're doing a much better job providing the kind of service, the quality of vehicle that the rental companies expect.
Well, let's bring in our guest host for the hour, Michael Rayner, who is a consultant at Deloitte Consulting. We were showing pictures of Zipcar. They've certainly been a disruptive force in the car rental agency market. Of course, Avis bought Zipcar, and Hertz has also built out its own car-sharing service. With these disruptive players being absorbed by the big players, where is the next source of disruption going to come from?
Well, I mean, next source of disruption in rental cars, I'm almost certainly the wrong guy to ask about that. I mean, the question, to me at least, is when you look at an industry that has got a lot of structural tailwinds, right, sort of for all the reasons you just described, it's kind of it's a better place to be than it's been. The issue is now, how do those companies differentiate themselves from each other? Just because there's only 3 players doesn't mean it's cozy. You know, it could turn into a real bar fight, but much of what Neil's been suggesting is that in fact they're finding ways to capture volume through differentiation, which is a key to profitability, rather than trying to capture volume by cutting price, which is not such a great idea.
Neil, do you see a bar fight coming up?
Yeah, you know, and in 35 years I've been in this industry, there's always been a differentiation through different management changes, organization structure, transitions, ownership transitions. There's always been this differentiation in pricing platforms among the 8 major brands. That was true 30 years ago. It's true today. Clearly, the FTC had a concern as well. That's why the Hertz deal took so long to occur. A couple of years in the process, but finally, I think they were convinced that the market forces will discipline pricing. And that's, in fact, what's occurred.